Far away from Earth, on the edge of human space, floated a small research station known as Outpost Helios 9. To most people in the galaxy, it was unimportant. Just another quiet human outpost studying a dim red dwarf star. Nothing powerful. Nothing dangerous. Nothing worth attention. But sometimes, the smallest places hide the biggest secrets. For 3 years, Helios 9 sent a short daily report to Earth. Always on time. Always calm. Nothing strange ever happened. The 27 scientists living there joked that they had the most boring job in human history. But everything changed one ordinary morning. At exactly 3:14 Galactic Standard Time, the outpost suddenly went silent. Not slow. Not damaged. Just silent. Earth Command tried calling the outpost. No answer. They tried emergency channels. Nothing. Even the automatic distress beacon, something that could not be turned off, was dead. To the galaxy, this might look like a simple technical problem. But humans felt something else, something cold. Inside the Earth Command Operations Hall, large screens glowed red. Officers looked at each other with confusion. Outpost Helios 9 had never missed a single report. Something was wrong. A small human patrol ship was sent to check. The patrol tried to contact the outpost the entire way, but the only sound they heard was static. Empty, dry, quiet static. When the patrol reached the coordinates, they saw the outpost still orbiting the red dwarf star. But it looked different. Too dark. Too quiet. Too empty. The patrol ship scanned the station. They expected signs of fire, damage, or maybe an asteroid hit. But the scan showed the opposite. The outpost was perfectly intact. Every system was still there. Every module was still connected. Every airlock was closed. Only, there were no humans inside. Not a single life sign. The patrol captain whispered, "How can 27 people disappear without leaving anything behind?" Earth Command immediately sent a scout drone. Small, fast, and able to enter the station without risk. The drone floated toward the outpost. Its lights shone through the windows of Helios 9, but there was nothing inside except drifting dust. When it entered the station, the hallway lights did not turn on. Everything was cold. The drone moved slowly, recording every corner. Human living rooms, empty. Kitchen, silent. Medical bay, clean, untouched. Storage room, full, nothing missing. It felt like the people simply stood up one day, walked out, and vanished. The drone reached the command center. All computer screens were off. All chairs were perfectly in place. But something strange caught the drone's camera. A coffee mug lying on the floor. Broken. As if someone had dropped it suddenly. The drone continued deeper inside, reaching the main laboratory. This room was different. Papers were scattered everywhere. A tablet was lying on the table with its screen cracked. A chair was turned over and a small blood stain was on the floor. Not much, but enough to show someone got hurt. Then the drone saw it. On the center table, words were carved into the metal surface. Not with a tool. They looked rough, uneven, cut with desperation. They are coming. Do not trust the stars. Earth Command officers stared at the message through the live feed. Nobody moved. Nobody spoke. Humans were brave, but this felt different. This felt like a warning from people who had seen something impossible. Suddenly the drone's video shook. Something huge passed behind the station. The drone turned its camera toward the window. At first there was only darkness. Then the darkness moved. Sensors detected a massive object, almost invisible, covered in a strange material that absorbed light. Before Earth Command could get more data, the entire video feed cut to white. Static filled the screen. The drone was gone. The operations hall fell silent. Officers watched the frozen last frame. A shadow larger than any alien ship humans had ever seen, standing behind the outpost like a giant waiting in the dark. Earth Command rushed into emergency mode. It was clear now. This was not an accident. This was not a human mistake. Something had taken Helios 9. A secret communication channel opened automatically. Only 3 people in the entire human species knew about this channel. Only 3 people had the authority to use it. A deep mechanical voice spoke 2 words that had not been spoken for decades. Activate protocol, Iron Sky. No civilian knew what that meant. No alien knew what that meant. But deep under Earth's crust, in hidden bunkers that stretched for miles, heavy doors began to slide open. Giant machines slept in those chambers. Machines built in secret for a threat no alien believed humans could face. Engines hummed. Blue lights ignited. Metal giants rose from the shadows. Humanity had been quiet for many years, pretending to be weak, pretending to be small. But now, the truth was waking. And the galaxy was about to learn why humans were never the species to provoke. Hidden far below Earth's surface, old metal doors groaned open for the first time in many years. Dust fell from the ceilings as ancient engines slowly woke from their long sleep. These hangars were not normal military bases. They were part of a secret project created long ago, a project only the highest members of Earth Command knew about. It was called Project Iron Sky. Most species in the galaxy saw humans as new players, a young race still learning the ways of the stars. Aliens believed humans were brave but small, emotional but not dangerous. What they never knew was that humans had quietly prepared for the day when something powerful would come from the dark. Inside the main Iron Sky chamber, giant steel platforms moved into place. Dozens of massive human warships, hidden for decades, stood waiting. Their gray hulls shined under bright lights. Their engines hummed softly like sleeping beasts. These were the Titan-class dreadnoughts, ships larger and stronger than anything the galaxy had ever seen. Each one carried enough firepower to destroy a small moon. But Earth had kept them secret. Why? Because humanity hoped they would never need them. Now, after the disappearance of Outpost Helios 9, that hope was gone. The meeting of commanders. In the center of Earth Command, a large round table glowed with holographic screens. Senior commanders gathered, faces tense, eyes locked on the final image from the scout drone. A giant, unknown shadow behind the station. No one could identify it. No database matched the silhouette. No alien empire used ships of that size or design. It was something new. Something dangerous. Commander Arya Holt, a sharp-eyed woman with silver streaks in her hair, stood up. 27 citizens vanished without a trace, she said calmly. We cannot ignore this. We cannot delay. We must prepare for contact with an unknown force. General Mason Varen leaned forward, fists clenched. Do you believe the outpost was attacked? Arya looked at the hollow image again, the shadow, the silence, the carved message. She nodded slowly. Yes. And whoever did this, they are not afraid of us. The room grew quiet. Nobody liked hearing that. Then the lights dimmed. A new screen activated. A deep, synthetic voice filled the room. Protocol Iron Sky is now active. Authorization granted. Earth Command officers exchanged startled looks. They all knew what this meant. Earth was entering war readiness. Across the galaxy, aliens react. Unknown to humans, alien empires across the galaxy noticed something strange too. Earth's communication traffic had suddenly changed. Signals were moving quickly. Secret channels were active. Energy readings from the Sol system were increasing. Curious species tried listening in. But every message was encrypted with human codes they could not break. The Council of Vithari Prime, one of the most advanced alien nations, held an emergency meeting. Humans are mobilizing, one advisor warned. Their energy output is rising sharply. Another alien clicked his sharp mandibles. Impossible. Humans don't have such power. But they were wrong. Humanity had hidden its true strength in places no one looked. Deep underground, behind the moon, inside asteroids, and beneath the seas. And now, all those places were waking. Back on Earth, the hidden fleet rises. Inside the biggest underground hangar, the largest Titan-class dreadnought slowly powered up. Its name was HFS Leviathan. It was almost 2 kilometers long, built with reinforced neutron armor, and equipped with weapons no alien had ever seen. Engineers rushed around it, reactivating systems, checking power cores and loading supplies. The giant ship vibrated softly as its engines warmed. A young engineer whispered, "I never thought I'd live to see Leviathan awaken." Another replied quietly, "If it's waking, something terrible must be coming." Meanwhile, thousands of human pilots received emergency orders. Messages flashed across every base. Report to battle stations. Iron Sky fleet deployment begins in 12 hours. Humans across Earth felt a mixture of fear and determination. Something unknown had attacked them, but humans were not the type to run. They would fight. They would learn. They would survive. That was the human way. A new threat appears. While Earth prepared, something else happened near the edge of human space. A strange pulse appeared, an energy wave unlike anything seen before. It moved slowly, almost like it was searching for something. A human listening post detected it and panicked. It's coming from the same direction as Outpost Helios 9. The pulse continued, scanning space like a cold, invisible hand brushing through the darkness. Human probes caught a faint image hidden inside the wave. A shape. A massive structure. Bigger than a ship, almost like a fortress drifting through the void. Commander Arya watched the footage with wide eyes. This is no pirate group. No empire. This is something ancient. The officers stared at the screen in shock. No alien empire had technology like this. Whatever took Helios 9 was still out there, and it was moving toward human space. The final moment of Part 2. Commander Arya stood before the giant hologram of the unknown structure and spoke a single order. Launch the Leviathan. Send the Iron Sky Fleet. As engines roared across hidden bases, as massive ships rose from underground, one truth spread through the galaxy like a whisper. Humanity is no longer silent. Humanity is rising. And something is coming for them. Deep beneath the surface of Earth, the largest chamber of Project Iron Sky shook as HFS Leviathan powered to full strength. The massive dreadnought, silent for decades, now hummed like a living creature awakening from a long sleep. The lights across its hull turned from dark blue to bright white. Its engines glowed. Its weapons unlocked from their safeties. For the first time in human history, a Titan-class warship was preparing for real deployment. Commander Arya Holt stood on the control bridge of the underground hangar. Through the transparent glass, she watched thousands of workers and soldiers race across platforms. Sparks flew. Mechanical arms moved. Heavy doors opened. Arya spoke in her calm voice, "Begin final checks." "All systems stable," replied a young officer. "Power core at 96% and rising. Shield matrix online. Main cannon charging." Arya nodded once. "Good. Leviathan launches in 10 minutes. Everyone within earshot felt a cold shiver. Leviathan was a weapon humanity hoped they would never use. But now, with an unknown force approaching human space, they had no choice. Across the galaxy, whispers spread. Alien listening stations across nearby star systems felt the shockwaves of Earth's secret awakening. Energy signatures far stronger than standard human technology were detected. Reports flooded alien councils. Humans activating something. Huge power discharge from Sol system. Weapons platforms rising from planetary bodies. Unknown megastructure powering up under Earth's crust. Many aliens refused to believe the data. One Vithari scientist shouted, "This must be an error. Humans are not capable of this." But the truth was clear. Humanity had hidden the Iron Sky Fleet for generations. And now those weapons were rising into the stars. Leviathan launches. Inside the Earth hangar, alarms flashed. The countdown began. 10, 9, 7. The ground trembled as huge clamps released. Engines roared louder than thunder. 4. A loud metallic voice echoed across the hangar. HFS Leviathan, launch clearance approved. 3, 2, 1. With a massive rumble, the ground split open above the hangar. A secret elevator platform rose, carrying the giant warship toward the sky. Dust flew. Light shook. Engineers shielded their faces. As the Leviathan emerged above the surface, sunlight hit its silver armor for the first time in many years. It looked like a floating mountain, dangerous, silent, and unstoppable. Commander Arya stood inside the ship's bridge now, as the deck vibrated beneath her feet. Dozens of officers surrounded her. Holographic screens showed star maps, weapon levels, and navigation routes. "Leviathan to Earth Command," Arya said. "We are airborne." Earth Command replied, "Proceed to low orbit. The fleet will join you there." Arya raised her hand. "Engage engines." The Leviathan lifted into the sky, pushing clouds aside. People across Earth looked up in awe, unaware that a ship capable of rewriting history was rising above them. The enemy draws near. While Leviathan ascended, humanity's deep space sensors picked up a stronger reading from the mysterious energy pulse that had scanned the borders of human territory. This time it wasn't just a pulse. It was a signal. A repeated rhythmic pattern. Cold. Mathematical. Precise. Inside the listening post Polaris, technicians panicked. "It's locking onto us," one shouted. "It's identifying human space," another cried. A larger shape now appeared on their screens. The earlier blurry outline was no accident. This time the structure was clearer. It looked ancient, maybe millions of years old. A massive fortress drifting through space. Dark metal. Countless glowing lines like veins. And its size, larger than any starbase known. The technician whispered, "Sir, it's heading straight for Earth. First contact with the unknown." Meanwhile, Leviathan reached space. The giant ship stabilized in low orbit, surrounded by stars and the blue curve of Earth below. Dozens of smaller cruisers and frigates rose from hidden launch bays across the planet, joining the growing fleet. Arya looked at the holoscreen. Status of the unknown object? A scientist replied, voice shaking. It will reach human space in 48 hours. Any communication attempts? Arya asked. We tried. No reply. What about translation systems? The scientist slowly shook his head. The signal pattern is nothing like we've ever seen. It's not a language. It's more like a scan. Arya's eyes narrowed. It was scanning humans like a predator examining prey. She turned to the weapons officer. What is the Leviathan's main cannon status? Charging. Full power in 4 minutes. A message from Helios 9. Suddenly, an alert beeped across the bridge. Incoming transmission, a communications officer shouted. Everyone froze. Arya stepped closer. From where? The officer swallowed. From Helios 9. Arya's heart pounded. Put it on. The screen flickered. Static filled the air. Then a broken voice came through, weak, shaking, terrified. This is Dr. Hale. Helios 9, we didn't disappear, they took us. Arya stared in shock. The entire bridge was silent. The voice continued. Not ships, not alive, something else. They see thoughts, The signal tore apart. Screams echoed. Metal scraped. Then one final whisper came through. They are not coming, they are already here. The transmission ended. Silence filled the bridge. No one moved. No one blinked. Arya finally spoke, her voice cold and steady. Raise all shields. Prepare all weapons. This is war. The bridge of the HFS Leviathan went silent after the broken transmission from Helios 9. Every officer stood frozen, replaying the final words of Dr. Hale inside their minds. They are not coming, they are already here. Commander Arya Holt felt a cold chill run down her spine. She had trained for war. She had prepared for alien threats. But this was something different. Something older. Something smarter. Arya took a slow breath. Her voice was calm, but her eyes were hard. All units listen carefully. We do not panic. We prepare. A chorus of voices responded. Yes, Commander. Arya turned toward the tactical officer. Scan our immediate surroundings. If something is already here, I want to know exactly where. Scanning, expanding radius, increasing sensor depth. The officer worked quickly, hands moving across controls. Suddenly his face went pale. Commander, you need to see this. A hologram flickered into existence in the center of the bridge. At first it looked like empty space. But then the image shifted. Countless small dots appeared, almost invisible at first, like dust particles suspended in the dark. The dots were clustered around Earth, and around the Leviathan. They were everywhere. The officer whispered, These are not ships. They're too small. Too many. Maybe drones? Maybe scouts. Another officer shook his head. No propulsion. No heat signatures. They're cold. Completely silent. Arya narrowed her eyes. So they've been watching us. The tactical display zoomed in on one dot. It looked like a small black crystal, floating perfectly still, as if it was part of the darkness itself. Arya felt the weight of the moment. They're not just watching us, she said softly. They're studying us. Earth Command responds. Back on Earth, inside the war room of Earth Command, high-ranking officers stared at the same holographic display. The floating black crystals were spread across the solar system. Near the moon, around orbital stations, even drifting near Mars. General Mason Varon slammed his fist on the table. How long have these things been here? A scientist replied with a trembling voice. Sir, possibly years. Maybe longer. Their technology bends light. We couldn't detect them until they revealed themselves. Or, Arya's voice answered through the comlink from Leviathan. They didn't reveal themselves. The energy spike from their moving fortress broke their cloak. Mason looked grim. So the disappearance of Helios 9 wasn't the first step. It was just the first mistake we noticed. The first attack. On board the Leviathan, alarms suddenly blared. Commander, one of the objects is moving. Arya turned sharply. Where? Sector 14, closing fast. Arya gave the order instantly. Activate point defense guns. Prepare interceptors. But before the weapons could fire, the black crystal object changed shape. It unfolded like a blooming metallic flower, opening into a sharp, spinning structure. A bright pulse shot outward. And for one terrifying second, the Leviathan's shields flickered. Shields destabilizing, the officer shouted. We're holding, but that blast almost cut through. Arya didn't hesitate. Destroy it. The Leviathan's front cannons fired. Blue plasma erupted, hitting the object dead center. The black crystal shattered into burning fragments. A cheer rose for 1 second. Then hundreds of other black crystals began moving. "Commander, they're all activating." The stars around Earth lit up with strange pulses, dark blossoms unfolding, shining with cold energy. Arya clenched her jaw. "All ships scatter and defend Earth. Do not let them reach the surface." Human cruisers, battleships, and drones launched into action. Trails of light crossed the sky like falling stars. The battle had begun. The enemy reveals itself. As human ships fought the crystal drones, something enormous appeared at the edge of the solar system. The ancient fortress. It drifted slowly, like a giant waking from eternity. Its dark hull absorbed sunlight. Thousands of glowing lines crawled across its surface, forming strange symbols no one could understand. The listening post Polaris transmitted new data. Size estimate updated. "It's not a fortress. It's a world ship." The report continued. "No signs of life as we know it. No biological signals. No communication. Only purpose: consume, analyze, move." General Mason's voice cracked. "What are they?" Arya stared at the massive hologram, remembering Dr. Hale's last whisper. "Not ships, not alive." She spoke slowly, coldly. "They are machines." Earth strikes back. The Leviathan charged its main cannon. The weapon hummed, filling the bridge with a deep vibration. A bright beam of blue light focused at the front of the enormous ship. "Main cannon ready," the weapons officer declared. Arya gave a single command. "Fire." A blinding lance of energy shot across space, tearing through the darkness and striking a cluster of crystal drones. Dozens exploded instantly, turning into dust. But the world ship didn't stop. Didn't slow. Didn't react. It simply continued moving toward Earth, like a predator that hadn't even noticed the attack. Arya whispered to herself, "This thing doesn't fear us, because it doesn't think we can hurt it." But she was wrong. Humanity had more surprises. And the galaxy had not yet seen the true power of the Iron Sky Fleet. The Leviathan's main cannon dimmed, its echo fading into silent space. Dozens of crystal drones had been turned to ash, but the gigantic world ship drifting at the edge of the solar system did not stop, did not slow, did not change direction. It kept moving toward Earth, as if the attack was nothing more than dust touching stone. On the bridge of the Leviathan, Commander Arya Holt stared at the hologram of the approaching threat. The lines glowing across the world ship's hull pulsed slowly, deep blue to bright white, like a heartbeat made of cold metal. Arya whispered, "It's not reacting. That means our strongest weapon barely scratched it." The tactical officer swallowed hard. "What do we do, Commander?" Arya took a deep breath. "We fight anyway." Humans had faced extinction before. They had never chosen surrender. Humanity mobilizes. All across the Earth, emergency alarms echoed through cities, bases, and orbital stations. People ran to shelters. Military teams rushed to their ships. Every screen flashed the same message. "Earth is under attack. Remain calm. Follow emergency procedures." Skyscraper windows reflected streaks of light as human fighters shot into the sky. Orbital defense cannons activated for the first time in decades. Satellites repositioned themselves with rapid precision. From the moon, secret hangar doors opened, releasing stealth destroyers armed with experimental weapons. And rising above them all was the Leviathan, massive, silent, ready. The crystal drones evolve. On the far side of Earth's orbit, hundreds of the floating black drones suddenly stopped moving. They rotated in perfect unison, like a single mind controlling every piece. Their sharp petals folded inward. Energy gathered at their cores. And then, they transformed. The drones stretched into long shapes, forming deadly spear-like objects. Their surfaces shifted like liquid metal, rearranging into a new design, sleek, sharp, aerodynamic. The tactical officer on the Leviathan gasped. "They're changing purpose. They're adapting to our attack patterns." Arya narrowed her eyes. "They're evolving." The newly formed spear drones launched toward the human fleet at incredible speed, breaking through the darkness like black arrows. "Impact in 20 seconds, someone shouted. "The battle begins." The Leviathan roared as weapons activated across its hull. Bright blue plasma guns rotated toward incoming threats. "Fire at will," Arya commanded. The sky lit up with beams, missiles, and explosive bursts. Human warships moved into defensive formations. Triangles, spears, shields, trained for thousands of simulations. Human fighters swarmed around the Leviathan, firing continuously. Dozens of drones shattered under the barrage, but dozens more broke through. A spear drone slammed into a human cruiser, cutting through its armor like paper. The ship exploded in a fireball of light. Another drone sliced through a squadron of interceptors. 4 fighters vanished in an instant. A third drone hit the Leviathan's shields. The bridge shook violently. Shields at 82%. Minor hull stress. Rebalancing power. Arya stood firm. Hold the line. Push them back. Earth joins the fight. From the surface of Earth, massive energy beams shot upward into space. These were the planetary defense lasers, weapons so powerful that they were hidden inside mountains and oceans. A beam hit a group of drones, vaporizing them instantly. Another slice of light crossed the darkness, tearing apart 5 more enemies. The scattered drones seemed to hesitate, their movements pausing for a fraction of a second, almost as if they were confused. Commander Arya noticed it. They didn't expect planetary defenses, she said softly. For the first time, the enemy adaptation slowed. And humans struck harder. The first weakness. During a scan of destroyed drones, a science officer made a shocking discovery. Commander, we found something. Arya turned quickly. What is it? The hologram zoomed into a broken drone fragment. It's not pure metal. There's something inside. The fragment opened. Inside was a glowing cube, pulsing with soft white light. The officer explained. These drones are not fully machines. They have biological cores. Organic components driving mechanical frames. Arya's eyes widened. So they're hybrids. More than that, the officer added. If we can disrupt the biocore, the entire drone collapses. Arya smiled for the first time in hours. We just found their weakness. She tapped her command console. All ships, listen carefully. Adjust your targeting systems. Aim for the internal core. Repeat, target the core. The turn of battle. Human warships shifted formations instantly. Their weapons recalibrated. Plasma beams narrowed into sharp, sniper-like shots. The next volley struck true. A spear drone was hit directly in the core, its glowing cube shattering. The drone instantly dissolved into dust. Another group fired at a cluster of drones, hitting multiple cores. More enemies fell apart, unable to regenerate or evolve. Human pilots cheered. Direct hit. They're breaking. We can beat them. The Leviathan unleashed its main cannon again, firing a tight, focused blast straight through a wave of drones. Dozens evaporated. But as the battle turned in humanity's favor, a deep rumble echoed across every sensor. The worldship had reached the outer edge of the solar system. Its glowing lines brightened. The space around it warped. Gravity twisted. A new energy pulse began building inside its core, stronger than anything seen before. Arya stared at the image with cold fear. This is their real attack. Commander Reyes stood on the bridge of Earth's flagship Astra 7, watching the holographic display in front of him. Hundreds of human ships, small, large, sleek, massive, floated in formation across the dark space like shining steel giants. The Earth fleet. Something the galaxy feared. Something no alien expected to ever rise again. But today, the fleet was awake. Major Lynn stepped closer, her face tense. Sir, all ships report ready. Fuel cells charged. Quantum cannons online. Drone wings deployed. Reyes did not answer at once. His mind went back to what he had seen inside the distortion. The architects. The twisted crew. The warning. A storm is coming. What storm? What force could scare beings that shaped space itself? Reyes turned to Dr. Cade. Any update on the energy readings? Dr. Cade shook his head anxiously. Sir, whatever the architects warned about, it's real. We're detecting a wave of unknown radiation moving across multiple star systems. It bends space like liquid. It destroys physics. If it reaches Earth. He paused. We won't survive. The room fell silent. Reyes finally spoke. Then we won't let it reach Earth. He raised his hand. Open communication with the fleet. A loud chime echoed through the bridge as every human ship connected to the command channel. Thousands of officers, pilots, soldiers, and AI units waited for their commander to speak. Reyes inhaled slowly. This is Commander Reyes. Today humanity stands at a border we never wished to cross. We face an enemy we do not understand. A force older than the stars. A storm that even the architects fear. Faces hardened across hundreds of decks. But the architects were correct about one thing. Humans do not run. We fight. We adapt. We survive. And today, we protect our home. The fleet erupted in cheers. Every engine powered brighter. Every cannon locked into position. Reyes turned to Major Lin. Begin the jump. Destination, Sector 0. Major Lin's eyes widened. Sector 0? But sir, that's where. Yes, Reyes interrupted. That's where the distortion reopened. The fleet jumped. Space stretched around them, lights turning into long lines. When they exited hyperspace, the view ahead turned the entire bridge silent. The distortion had grown. No longer a small wound. It was now a massive swirling tear in space, pulsing like the heartbeat of the universe. Around it drifted thousands of twisted human shapes. The lost Outpost crew. The earlier rescue teams. Even civilian ships that had vanished in the past months. They floated like a ghost army, glowing faintly. And behind them, Major Lin whispered, "Oh my God." A giant structure emerged from the tear. A colossal organism, bigger than a moon, covered in shifting tendrils and glowing veins. Not the architects. Something else. Something the architects feared. Dr. Cade trembled. "Sir, I don't think this is an enemy. This is the storm." The creature opened thousands of eyes. Eyes that stared directly at the human fleet. A deep rumble vibrated through space. A voice entered every human mind at once. "You were warned." Reyes gritted his teeth. "Human fleet, prepare for engagement." The creature spread its tendrils, tearing open fresh holes in space. From inside them, new shapes emerged, shadows made of pure energy, claws sharp like lightning, forms constantly shifting. Reyes slammed his fist on the console. "Fire all weapons." Human cannons exploded with bright power. Quantum beams cut through the dark. Missiles streaked forward. The storm creatures roared. But the beams passed through them as if hitting smoke. Major Lin panicked. "Our weapons are useless." Reyes growled. "Find something that works." But before the storm creatures could reach the fleet, something unexpected happened. The architects appeared. Dozens of massive geometric shapes materialized around the distortion. Giant cubes, spheres, pyramids made of living light. The space around them bent like water ripples. The architects did not speak. They attacked. Beams of pure reality shot from their structures, striking the storm creatures. Every hit made the creatures scream in a voice that shook bone. Reyes stared in shock. "So the architects came to fight with us?" Dr. Cade shook his head slowly. "No, Commander. They came because they understand something we don't." Reyes turned sharply, confused. Cade whispered, "They can't win without humans." At that moment, the giant storm creature opened its central eye. An eye the size of a city. A beam of dark energy formed inside it. The 02's voice screamed. "Warning. Energy levels critical. Impact will destroy entire fleet." Reyes felt his stomach drop. The storm creature fired. And the universe turned white. A brilliant flash swallowed everything. The architects, the human fleet, the distortion, the stars. For a moment it felt like the end. But something impossible happened. The twisted human forms, the ones floating like dead shadows, suddenly glowed brighter. They raised their hands toward the storm. Their bodies straightened. Their eyes became pure white. They spoke together. "We are not dead. We are human. And we remember." A wave of bright energy erupted from them. A human-made force the architects could never create. The wave struck the storm creature, halting its attack. The universe shook. Reyes stared, breathless. They saved us." Dr. Cade whispered. "No, sir. They became something else. Something stronger. Something human and architect both." The storm creature reeled backward. The tide of the battle shifted. For the first time, the storm was afraid. Reyes stood tall. "Human fleet, move forward. This is our fight. This is our galaxy. And we will not fall." The final battle had begun. And fate of the universe rested in human hands.